Alright guys, welcome to the channel, it's Irad. In today's video we are going to react to a video from TenPoundFourtyTwo, sorry, who actually has doubt. I'm happy to see I'm not the only one who is doubting that we might not necessarily see Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 before Citizencon. I mean, look at 324, right? It's just taking forever. There are blockers. We're going to be in the month of August. The end of the third quarter is the end of September. I think it's going to be a very tight schedule. So I'm really wondering here what TenPoundFourtyTwo has to say also about the topic, and let's see if I agree with him or not.
Want to hear a crazy prediction? 4.0 will 100% release before Citizencon. Now, that...
Right, maybe during Citizencon, maybe a PTU during Citizencon, right? But I really don't think it's going to be.
Might sound ridiculous, but CIG seems to be pretty confident, and there's some subtle clues that this whole thing has to be wrapped up before the big event on October the 19th. So let's turn off the logical parts of your brain, prepare to read too deeply into things, and let's choose once again to trust in the words of CIG.
I like the editing here.
Last week's ISC was all fun and games about jump points, but at the end, Disco Lando said something somewhat shocking.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully a whole heck of a lot about the first jump point that's currently in development and scheduled to make its way into Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 in just the next few months. Yeah, I didn't say before the end of this year. We're still targeting something a bit sooner than that.
Right, so that's also something that I mentioned in the previous video where we reacted to Inside Star Citizen, right? That is a serious hint that it's going to be coming. What is before that? Well, that's Citizencon, right?
That's all I'm going to say.
4.0 is targeting the next few months. Now, there are a lot of reasons not to believe him. Let me give you a few examples. CIG are always wrong with their dates. In fact, earlier this year, Jared said they were aiming for summer, and this latest prediction basically confirms that they'll miss that date.
Yeah, right, exactly. It wouldn't be the first time that Jared says something that the dates were missed. That's actually a good point.
Also, 324 is still in Evocati, and it doesn't look anywhere near close to going live. There's been zero testing of Blockade Runner, the latest dynamic event, and CIG are still working to add search functionality to the new freight elevators and item bank. So
that's probably going to be coming with a 324.1 or 0.2, by the way. I don't think this is coming necessarily when 324 is going to hit the live servers.
There's a lot that needs to get fixed before that goes live. And talking of testing, the main thing, the big reason 4.0 has taken so long to come out, we haven't had a server meshing test.
That's right. I mean, we had a few in the preview channel, but that was basically it. And they were very limited as well.
So far, that proves the tech is ready to send us to Pyro. Yes, the server meshing tests we've had so far have been exciting. They've shown potential of the tech, but we're still waiting to test a version that actually you could say was
from
ready
one
for
server
release.
to another. Exactly.
That's some of the bad stuff, but let's be positive.
But also, yeah, let's be positive here, because CIG also seem to be saying that the tech is working quite well and that they are quite optimistic about it. So that could be the reason why. I mean, after all, we've already tested a lot of the features of 4.0. We've already had those Pyro playtests in the tech preview channel as well. So maybe what they just need is to have first the freight elevators that are coming in 3.24, and then a stronger version of server meshing, and that's gonna be it. Maybe that's why they're confident.
So let's ignore all of that rubbish. What are the possible signs that 4.0 could actually go live in the next few months? Let's get into 3 reasons to be hopeful. Reason number 1 that 4.0 is coming soon, and this is the big one: CIG are going to focus on Squadron 42 and 1.0 at Citizencon. CIG is good at marketing. If CIG is going to release Squadron in 2025, like most people are predicting, I would assume that Citizencon this year is going to be heavily focused on the single player.
Yes, that's something that I've also said a lot, right? And especially they need to be hyping Squadron 42 a lot, because GTA 6 is coming next year as well, and they also need to finish Squadron 42 in the first part of 2025, because the second part of 2025 is all going to be about GTA 6.
game. I'm predicting that the panels that last year focused on Pyro will be replaced by deep dives into the locations, the game mechanics, the tech, all the behind the scenes stuff, the mocap of Squadron 42. There are loads of things they can focus on to build hype towards a release next year, and they will want content creators reacting to their content like they did last year. They want the reach of the game to be spread as wide as possible.
Yeah, that. But it's not just going to be Squadron 42. I think we're going to see also the roadmap, at least the plan to 1.0, and especially what's going to be beyond Alpha 4.0, right? What's going to be in Alpha 4.1, 4.2, Beta 1, Beta 1.1, Beta 2 eventually. The new star systems, some of the missing gameplay features as well that were announced before that they were talking about, the economy as well. All of that needs to be discussed and shown.
Starting off the Squadron marketing campaign with a bang is incredibly important to the success of the whole project. I really don't think they'll want to dilute the attention by sharing the focus with 4.0 and Pyro. Much better to release 4.0 before Citizencon, draw a load of new players in, and then whack them in the face with Luke Skywalker and Gimli.
Now, that will draw lots of players in if 4.0 works, because we are going to have to do some serious
Pyro
testing as well.
has been the focus of Citizencon for so many years now that surely they're not going to do it again. Surely there isn't anything more to say. Now, I don't think they will...
That, right? I mean, when was the first time? It was during the pandemic, right, that we had a big Squadron 42 Citizencon, so that was in 2020, right?
Ignore the PU completely. We'll probably get some details of what to expect in 4.1, maybe 4.2, but they are likely to focus on the future of Star Citizen, the 1.0 release. We haven't heard anything about that so far. They mentioned it in the last letter from the chairman, and it's almost as if the company is holding everything back for Citizencon.
Oh, they always do that. It's every time we have a Citizencon, the few months before, they're always holding. We have a few tidbits of information every now and then, in sometimes Inside Star Citizen or the monthly report, but that's basically it, right?
Now, every year this happens. They hold back the most exciting stuff to drop in one massive lump at the big event. And I would expect that we'll get a massive info drop on what to expect for an initial release, and who knows, maybe a rough prediction of when they're targeting. That date will obviously be wrong, but it's going to be a massive focus 1.0 of Citizencon as well. And again, they're not going to want to share the limelight with 4.0. It's going to be Squadron 42 and 1.0 in my opinion. And also notice what they're not holding back for Citizencon. Last week's ISC on the jump points was exactly the sort of thing that in previous years they would have saved. It's got big, exciting visuals. Yeah. It's a hype thing, something people have been waiting for years.
Yeah, he's actually making a good point now. It seems as if the things that's coming for Pyro is like, yeah, no big deal. We've seen that so many times. It's coming soon. That's going to be the next patch. In fact, it is. Or supposed to be the next big patch after 3.24. So that's why they're having that in Inside Star Citizen. So it could be right. Maybe that's a sign that this is coming sooner than what we might believe.
And the fact that we got shown this in July tells us that they've got better stuff in the bank for October. But also, I think they're hinting at, and Jared has been saying, that they're actually going to show us more and more and more about 4.0 over the next few months in ISCs and SEL. So again, they're not looking to hold it back for Citizencon. Reason 2 that 4.0 is coming before Citizencon. Pyro itself is long done.
Yeah,
Pyro has been read.
But yeah, that's right. We've seen the plans of Pyro back in 2020 already. A good point here.
In various states of polish for years. We've had videos showing planets in various states. We had
that was in 2022 already.
The Pyro Playground last year, where we could play a cut down version of the system. The planets, space stations, and outposts we saw will likely have been improved, but on the whole, they were in a good enough state to release back then.
They were great.
And this video from February 2022 shows how the Planet content team had actually moved past Pyro and had actually done a lot of work on the Nix system.
I remember that. Yeah, he's right. They did talk about how they worked on the Nix system, which is probably already done. We've seen actually pictures of the planets of the Nix system, especially the gas giant. So my guess, and this is what I think, is that they've already got past the Nix system, and we are going to see during Citizencon, we are going to see the next systems after Nix. We're going to see Nix, and we are going to be seeing like, and that's not all. That's what they're going to say. They're going to show us Nix. They'll be very proud of Nix, and then they'll be like, and that's not all. Let us show it. Let us show you guys what you are going to be seeing after, and then we'll see Terra, right?
If anything about your work on Nix.
Yeah, we did work on that. Like lots of work. Looks pretty good. You know, it's like we still have to do like one final polish pass on it. But yeah, before server meshing isn't ready. Yeah, it's not us.
Exactly. So these guys have been working on Nix, and what have they done since 2022? Surely they haven't been idle, right? There's plenty of things to do. There are 100 star systems to work on, right? So I'm pretty sure that they worked on other things. Of course, there's also Planetech V5. We know that. But I think the Planetech V5 is also needed for planets like Terra, right? Planets that are going to be very diverse, very complex, and that are going to require additional tech to make it come to life, which is basically going to be a prototype of what eventually Earth is going to be as well.
Holding that back, I think.
So I think we can safely say that the Pyro system itself probably could have been released at any point over the last few years. And as mentioned, the only thing really holding it back all this time was server meshing.
That's right.
Reason 3, CIG can just cut any features not ready. Now, apart from server meshing, CIG has the ability to push features not quite ready for 4.0 to 4.1 or 4.2, or maybe they'll get forgotten about forever.
That's right. The main thing for 4.0 is server meshing. But that's the thing, right? Is server meshing going to be ready for live before Citizencon, right? That's the main
question. If you look
question.
through the roadmap, out of everything, only the core tech section is essential for 4.0. As our fellow roadmap watchers will tell you, this sort of dropping off the roadmap has happened many times before. It's almost a guarantee at this stage. Would you be shocked if fire got delayed?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's okay.
Could charge and drain
no one cares.
slip? Could CIG reduce the amount of ships that engineering is going to be set up for?
That's fine. I think that's okay, right? Anyway.
If CIG is committed to getting 4.0 out the door before Citizencon, which I think they are, I would expect some of this stuff on the roadmap to quietly disappear.
No, and that will be fine. Eventually, they need to get that patch out of the door. Maybe they'll make sacrifices for it, right? Or maybe,
Ultimately, 4.0's release all hinges on whether CIG can get a basic version of server meshing working in the next 3 months. So far, the server meshing tests have been positive, but in order for 4.0 to stand a chance of coming before Citizencon,
they need more testing. That's the thing, right? We've been stuck. The problem is not 4.0, I would say. The problem is 3.24. We've been stuck with this patch for like months already. That's a lot of too many weeks. Like we're already almost in August, right?
we're going to need to see a pretty large increase in the amount of tests that CIG are running.
There you go.
And if you even forget about server meshing for a second, Jared promised a lot of testing in the tech preview channel at the end of last year.
Alpha 4.0 is currently targeting a summer 2024 release, but that won't mean that you have to wait until then to play it or learn more about it.
Technically, summer finishes on September 23rd.
That's because in 2024, we'll continue doing play tests like the one we just completed, and you'll be able to follow along with its development firsthand on the preview channel. That's the planets, moons, space stations, settlements, and outlaw lifestyle that comes within the Pyro system, but also an entire host of additional new features, content, and quality of life improvements.
Yeah, so far not so good, right? The only playtests we've had were server meshing playtests.
Like, fully functional jump points, the new quantum travel system, new vehicle HUD and MFD work, resource management, hacking, and much, much more, all being worked on in tandem.
I think it's fair to say that they haven't quite delivered all of that so far in 2024. So, will 4.0 release in the next few months? That might depend on how you define release. Would we count a PTU release?
There you go.
The time frame to get 4.0 onto servers before Citizencon seemed incredibly tight. But if it makes it to the PTU before October the 19th, I think that will basically count from CIG's point of view. What do you think? Are you able to forget all of CIG's past timeframe sins?
I think that the main point here, the main thing that will decide whether or not CIG is going to make it is how quickly they can get 324 out of the door with the freight elevators, right? But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Great video also by 1042. I'm going to subscribe. There you go, and I'll put the link in the description down below so you can check the original and follow this channel as well. I've been your Ryan, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.